Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristen. We moved to Nova Scotia from Kent in South East England in May 2021. We wanted a better life for our children. Primarily, we wanted to be more self-sufficient and know where our food comes from.
Final aeroplane, final look of the journey.
This is our new home.
We were working 3 jobs between us for a tiny house and a tiny garden. My father passed away in 2016 and it really hit home at how short life is. Coupled with COVID, it was just the push we needed. We moved to our property 2 years ago in October 2021 and we started building our homestead. The first job was to build a chicken run and a temporary coop in the shed to just get us over the winter. We built rabbit hutches to house our meat rabbits and welcomed our first kits. As soon as the ground thawed enough in the spring, we set about building a permanent chicken coop onto the existing chicken run. After finishing the coop, we welcomed our first batch of meat chicks and we finally got round to building a rabbit tractor.
Trim that bit down. Chuck us that saw.
Our biggest project, definitely by far, was building our polytunnel out of mostly reclaimed and free materials. We started a garden which was a tall order because we're basically on a huge rock without soil. Beginning of summer we made our first meat tractor and in the autumn we dealt with Fiona. If you want to see more of our first year, check out our previous videos or our 1 year time lapse. Shortly after Fiona we received our permanent residency, which was a huge relief and a weight off of our minds. We got our first pigs and as usual we weren't prepared and they had to bunk down with the chickens whilst we set about building them a pigsty and then a pig run. was awesome having them over the winter as they kept the chickens warmer. We didn't have to deal with smells or flies. We should, however, have butchered them way smaller and sooner. As the weather started to deteriorate, we turned our hand to actually building some storage in the shed. We'd had our shipping delivered the previous winter and it had just been dumped. Finally, we got to this project. In the winter months, we turned our attention to dividing the upstairs ensuite back into an ensuite and family bathroom.
There's too much.
Don't do it.
There's too much attitude in one room.
Oh no! Stop it, both of you. Paint the walls.
This is not going to end well.
No! Stop it. I mean,
Yeah.
stop it. Paint your bathroom.
Yeah.
This is not a good demonstration of.
I mean it. Yeah, no, not. Don't. I mean it. Stop. That's not funny.
We finally got goats and the experience came with highs and lows. The highs of bottle feeding a 2-hour-old goat, goats being born on the homestead, the girls milking, making yogurt, having her own milk, to the unfortunate passing of Dicey, Ettie's favourite goat, whom touched all our hearts and is still very, very missed. Back to the joys of the girls competing in 4-H and showing their goats.
Gwen's had twins.
I get to pick.
Oh, that's adorable. Oh, they're tiny. Well done, Gwen.
We cleared the back room, which had become a dumping ground, and prepared to host our first visitors.
Your mouth if you give her the chance. We need to give her air brakes so she doesn't stop breathing.
And our visitors very graciously helped us installing the Wiggle Wire channel and the Wiggle Wire 4-hour polytunnel. This allowed us to roll the sides up, which allowed us to cool the polytunnel down a lot more this year. Last year it was roasting in there.
Look, I've kept it tidy all the way along.
There you go.
I'm going to tidy up after.
Male messes.
This year we took the opportunity to add even more soil to the garden. As you know, we are built on a rock, so yeah, as much soil, manure, anything that we can get is so valuable. This year we upped our seed starting by adding grow lights, which was an absolute game changer. We also fertilised the seeds as we went, and yeah, we had really good success growing indoors. The problem was we did plant out a little bit too soon. Some seedlings. So broccoli, cabbage, and I think that one's cauliflower. I've got it turned the other way around. What's happened? Amazing! That is so cool. What about the others? Marcus erected a tripod to help lift the pigs when it came to the scalding, and we still needed to use the car to help winch it up. They were quite big. And we scalded the pigs in a horizontal tank where we'd only done vertical before. Last year we invested in a sausage stuffer. This year we invested in the meat grinder as we had our own meat. But now I feel like we need to upgrade the sausage stuffer because we had so much meat. Marcus built a whiz-bang chicken plucker to help with processing the meat birds. Obviously plucking by hand is no fun, which is what we did the year before, so this was a huge convenience for us, and even hooked up the water to it and everything like that. The feathers just come out in one area, which is just amazing and just so much cleaner. I embarked on a mission to make more of the wooded side part of our property, to clear the land but leave shade for future animals. This was a much bigger job than I imagined, and it literally took me weeks chopping away a bit at a time. We were lucky enough to be able to get the use of a wood chipper, which we were then able to use for the animal bedding, which was great, and also just repurposing resources from our land for the animals or for firewood or for building materials was great. We eventually got around to clearing up some of the trees that fell down during Fiona, so yeah, a year old's worth of stuff. When seeing how much wood we've actually managed to reclaim from Fiona, we decided to bring the woodshed project ahead. Not only to build it with some of this wood, but obviously some of this wood will be split and seasoned for next year's burning. This project was originally on the to-do list for September, and friends of ours came to stay and wanted to help with the project, and it gave us an enormous boost. If we hadn't have done this in August, I'm not sure if we would have got to it in September, just with the weather pattern and the way things went and animals to be butchered. So this was a huge step forward. Marcus started collecting bee swarms, and this was a previous hobby of his in the UK. He's keen to return to it, and this time he has made himself a bee vacuum.
I set the generator up to power the shop vac, and then the shop vac produced a vacuum, and there's a grill in here that the bees can't go through, and then I put a pipe on there so the shop vac was sucking through the beehive up to here, and I basically just used the vacuum hose to hoover up all the bees.
This year's garden wasn't straightforward. I don't think it's ever going to be straightforward, but nevertheless we managed to get a good harvest, and instead of just preserving, using pickling or freezing, this year we're delving into canning and looking to preserve a little bit more fancier.
Open air, side by side we sway there in all the colors.
We'd really love it if you shared this video with anybody like-minded so we can grow our community. And if you like watching this, then please subscribe and like to follow more.